Less than a year after our divorce, Ruyan already regretted it. He knelt before me, begging like a madman for us to remarry. When I refused, he had my parents seized and rigged with explosives. Yifan, I love you. Don't force me to hurt those you care about. He stared at me with a crazed look, counting down. 30 seconds. If you don't say yes, I'll send your parents off first, then we'll die together. I couldn't let my parents suffer. In the end, I was forced to nod in humiliation. After our remarriage, Ruyan seemed like a changed person. She stopped frequenting clubs and guarded me constantly. The girl who once couldn't even boil an egg was actually willing to cook for me every day. On our first Valentine's Day since the remarriage, she spent a fortune showering the whole city in rose petals. Beijing looked like it was caught in a romantic downpour. That period, I almost fell for it. I was ready to believe Ruyan had truly changed and still loved me, until the day I visited my father in the hospital. As I entered, I ran into a man and a doctor pushing a bed out. Lying on it was Ruyan. And the man beside her was Boda, her secret first love for all these years. He held a newborn baby, smiling weakly but happily. Boda, look at our daughter. Isn't she precious? Boda looked down with eyes as gentle as if he were holding fragile porcelain. Haha, you've worked hard. Standing there, my blood seemed to freeze in an instant. Sister Ruyan, congratulations. Her friends around her began to tease. Brother-in-law is really something else. Ruyan's gaze turned icy instantly. Watch your mouth. Yifan is your brother-in-law. Oh, pardon my memory. I almost forgot you and Yifan were remarried. The person apologized quickly. But you two divorced originally because of Boda. Now that you've had his child, what if Yifan finds out? Before they could finish, Ruyan's tone turned cold. Yifan must never know about this. If anyone lets it slip, don't blame me for turning heartless. The group went quiet immediately. Just then, I pushed the door open. The atmosphere in the room dropped to freezing. Ruyan quickly let go of Boda. Yifan, what are you doing here? I smiled. Perhaps because I had already been betrayed once by Ruyan. This time I didn't even feel pain. I didn't cry or scream. Speaking, in a perfectly calm tone, I said, I came to offer my congratulations. Yifan, you've misunderstood, Ruyan stammered. I didn't betray you. I conceived before we remarried. After I got pregnant, I even thought about an abortion. But the doctor said I might never be a mother again. I had no choice but to have her. Yifan, you must believe me. I did have feelings for Boda before, but I don't love him now. You are the one I love. I will love only you for the rest of my life. This woman, she spoke of love for me, yet turned around and had a child with another man. I didn't say a word. I walked straight up to Boda and slapped him across the face. Boda's tears spilled instantly. He knelt before me. Yifan, I know you hate me, but the child is innocent. Please, don't force Ruyan to break ties with me. I don't want anything. I won't fight you for her. With a blank expression, I raised my hand, ready to strike a second time, but this time my wrist was gripped firmly in midair by Ruyan. Yifan, that's enough. I lifted my eyes, scanning Ruyan coldly. Didn't you just say you didn't love Boda anymore? Ruyan's expression flickered. I truly don't love Boda anymore, but he is the father of the child after all. Reasonably, I cannot just stand by and watch you bully him. She probably forgot that back when we weren't divorced yet, Boda had slapped me exactly like this, one strike after another. At that time, I had just left the hospital. She stood by coldly watching him beat me, yet now she couldn't stand me hitting back. My eyes were filled with exhaustion. If you want me to stop, fine. Come to the registry office with me right now to file for divorce. Ruyan's expression turned terrifying. She grabbed my chin and hissed, divorce is impossible, Yifan. Unless I'm dead, don't think about leaving me. Last time you tricked me into signing those papers, but I won't fall for the same trick twice. This time, every document you hand me, I will read word for word. You won't fool me into signing a divorce agreement again. Since Ruyan refused to divorce, I didn't waste my breath. I reached to strike Boda again. Ruyan felt a jolt of panic. Instinctively, she shoved me hard from behind. Taken by surprise, I crashed to the floor. The back of my head slammed against the table corner. Warm liquid streamed through my hair, but Ruyan rushed over to cradle the man sprawled on the floor. Boda, are you okay? The look of genuine concern on her face was definitely not acting. I took a breath. I said nothing, just pulled myself up and left the hospital. Outside, the sun was blinding. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number. You were right, they haven't changed. Thank goodness you warned me. When we remarried, I had a friend help me get a fake marriage certificate. I'm leaving Ruyan, but first I must ensure my parents are safe. Help me send them abroad secretly and hide them. Once they are safe, I will leave immediately. From the other end of the phone, a soft, warm voice replied, no problem, I'll get it done within a week. After hanging up, I drove to the immigration bureau. After I tried to escape last time and was dragged back, Ruyan had confiscated my ID and passport, afraid I would run again. She wanted me to be a caged bird, unable to go anywhere. Luckily, with my friend's help, I had secretly reissued my ID. Now, all I needed was to replace my passport, to leave Ruyan forever. I used a new name for the ID. This time, she would never find me. I arrived at the office quickly, handed over the form, and the clerk verified my details, giving me a receipt. Information is correct. Pick up your new passport in 7 business days. I thanked the clerk and drove back to the Liu estate. As soon as I walked through the door, the air was thick with the smell of milk, and the faint crying of an infant. In the living room, servants were busy with a crib, formula, bottles, and baby supplies. Boda, wearing loungewear, was leaning on the sofa holding the baby, cooing softly. The servants surrounded him, handing over toys and bottles. Ruyan was laughing as she helped. When she saw me, her first instinct was to shield Boda. That gesture, more than any words she could utter, was truly honest. Yifan, let me explain. She blocked my path, her voice revealing a hint of panic. I just gave birth, my body is too weak. You can't just let the child grow up without a father. I promise you, once the confinement month is over, I'll send him away. Before she could finish, I interrupted coldly. No need to explain, because I don't care. Ruyan froze. All the excuses she had prepared, even the scenarios where I would go crazy, scream, cry, or throw Boda's things away. She had planned for it all, but I didn't cry or scream. That light, indifferent I don't care caught her completely off guard. Ruyan suddenly got angry. How could I not care? Boiling with suppressed rage, she instinctively tried to provoke me, wanting to see if I still cared for her. Since you're being so generous, that's perfect. Boda is looking after the baby and needs to regain his strength. The nanny's cooking isn't to his liking. Since you're a good cook, go make Boda a bowl of fish soup to help him recover. Ruyan thought surely I'd lose it now. No man could tolerate the humiliation of serving his partner's lover, but I said nothing. I simply turned and walked into the kitchen. Ruyan's pupils dilated. She stared at my straight back, but felt no satisfaction, only growing unease. Boiling water, cleaning the fish. In half an hour, I walked out with a steaming bowl of rich white fish soup. I placed it on the coffee table and scooped a bowl myself. Boda reached for it. Yifan, thank you. But in the next second, I suddenly tilted my head and drank the fish soup in the bowl entirely. Haha, Ruyan looked closely. I looked at Ruyan with cold eyes, then said word by word, this fish soup is safe. I drank it myself. Whether Boda gets a headache or a stomachache later has nothing to do with me. Having said that, I threw the bowl on the floor and walked away. A year ago, when Boda was hospitalized, he said he didn't want to eat anything except my braised pork ribs. I didn't want to cook it, but Ruyan forced me into the kitchen, and through humiliation, I tremblingly stewed a full pot of ribs. Later, Boda suffered from diarrhea and vomiting after eating, and was rushed to the hospital. The doctor said it was food poisoning. What did Ruyan do back then? I remember now. She went mad, not bothering to investigate or listen to me. She was convinced I was so jealous that I had poisoned the food. As punishment, she had the doctor prepare a potent poison and forced it down my throat. Since you like poisoning people so much, why don't you taste it yourself? That night I writhed on the cold floor in agony, my face pale as paper, my clothes soaked in sweat, whispering Ruyan's name in a haze. I begged for his mercy, but Ruyan just stood upstairs, watching Boda. The past kept flooding back. I squeezed my eyes shut, refusing to dwell on it, but then Ruyan walked in. He seemed to remember last year too. His expression softened, almost uncomfortably. Fan, I know I wronged you back then, but I made it up to you. Stop bringing up the past. It's embarrassing for everyone. I just froze. I realized the truth. I had suffered through a night of agony until I lost my child. Yet to Ruyan, that was just a minor grievance he'd already compensated for. I wasn't even allowed to mention it. Doing so meant I was being difficult. If you hate me bringing it up, then stop making me live with Boda, I said calmly. I can move out and clear the space for you two. What are you talking about? Ruyan snapped, suddenly angry, as if scared I'd actually leave. He grabbed me, pulling me into a tight embrace. Fan, you're my husband, the master of the Liu household. This is your home. You're staying right here. I'm not letting you go. You aren't going anywhere. Just then, a baby's cry pierced the air. A maid knocked at the door, panicked. Miss Liu, the young master, please, come to the nursery quickly. Ruyan finally released me, though reluctantly. I'll go check on him and be right back. He turned and left, but he never returned. I was used to it. I turned off the lights and went to sleep, finished with waiting. Waiting all night only ever left me with a broken heart. The next morning, I was jolted awake by Boda's wailing. Little Bao, what's wrong? Wake up. Don't scare your father. I frowned and rolled over, trying to sleep. I wasn't touching this drama. But 30 minutes later, Ruyan kicked my door open, his face dark. Fan, tell me what you did last night. He radiated such a heavy, suffocating pressure that it was hard to even breathe. Confess, and I won't punish you. I'd seen this script played out a dozen times over the last year. It was just a rerun. I felt nothing but boredom. Ruyan, are you losing your mind again? His face twisted, eyes fixed on me with a hatred so sharp it felt like he wanted to skin me alive. Little Bao is in a coma. The doctor said he was fed an overdose of sleeping pills. I let out a dry, hollow laugh. Let me guess. Even without an investigation or a shred of evidence, you've already decided it was me. Of course. The moment Boda cries, you pin it on me. Doesn't this feel familiar, Ruyan? Are you and Boda not tired of this framing game yet? Because I certainly am. Ruyan's rage shifted into a cold, cruel smile. Fan, you really don't know when to quit. You want proof? Fine, I'll give you proof. He signaled his men, who brought in a projector. He played the nursery surveillance footage from last night. The lights were off, making the video grainy and blurred, but around 3 in the morning, a figure crept into the room. The person skulked toward the crib and leaned over to feed the child something. They kept their back to the camera, but the footage clearly captured their clothes. A light blue loungewear set. It was identical to what I was wearing. Even the figure's build and hairstyle were unnervingly like mine. The screen went black, and Ruyan slapped me across the face. Fan, what else is there to say? I thought you just hated Boda. but I never imagined you'd stoop so low as to hurt a newborn. I promised you, once Boda finished her confinement, they would leave. Why would you do this? The slap was brutal. My ears rang, and I tasted copper on my lips. I looked up, cold as snow, and gave him a faint, hollow smile. Ruyan, I have nothing left to say to you. The video didn't show my face, only the clothes. And this loungewear? It's not some custom, one-of-a-kind piece. It's mass-produced, cheap clothing anyone can buy at the mall. Yet, Ruyan, you used a common outfit to brand me a criminal. People truly don't change, do they? Even when they're begging on their knees, apologizing, their nature remains exactly the same. What did you just say? Ruyan lunged, grabbing my chin so hard it hurt. He looked haunted, his face terrifyingly pale. What do you mean? You have nothing left to say to me. Am I not spoiling you enough? Little Bao is my own flesh and blood. You almost killed him. And yet, I didn't want to punish you because I know how much you suffered before. I felt for you. Even if you messed up, I couldn't bring myself to hurt you. If you had just been honest when I asked, I would have forgiven you. But you've disappointed me so deeply. You won't admit it, and you keep using the past to guilt-trip Boda and me. I've had enough. He paused, his eyes turning vicious. Throw him in the ancestral hall to kneel. He stays until the child wakes up. It was December. The wind was bone-chilling, and the Lu ancestral hall was tucked in the shadows, a place devoid of any warmth. I was wearing only that thin loungewear. I knelt on the freezing hard stone floor. The cold seeped through my knees and into my marrow, making my bones ache. Ruyan must have forgotten. A year ago, he locked me in an ice cellar for 3 days, for G. Boda's sake. My body never recovered from that. I can't handle the cold anymore. And now, he's repeating history. I laughed at myself. This is the last time, Ruyan. After this, we are dead to each other. Hours crawled by. I knelt from daylight into darkness, then back again. My knees went numb, then started stinging, as if thousands of needles were digging into my bones. My body temperature began to drop. My lips turned purple. Breathing in the freezing air felt like swallowing shards of glass. Just as I drifted toward unconsciousness, a small, warm bundle suddenly rushed into my arms. A tiny hand hugged me. Daddy. The soft, sweet voice snapped me back to reality. I looked down. It was my daughter, Tiantian. She'd been kept at the old estate under the care of Ruyan's mother. That was Ruyan's leash on me. As long as he had her, I wouldn't dare escape. My birthday was in 3 days, the only time I was allowed to see her. I had planned to take her and leave then. I pulled her close. Tiantian, why are you here? Grandma is visiting the baby, she mumbled. Visiting the baby. My heart sank. Ruyan said he'd send them away, but now that the matriarch knew about the child, would they ever leave? Baby? Let's go, baby. Tiantian grabbed my hand, tugging me toward the door. Following her, I walked to the main hall of the estate, stopping by the massive floor-to-ceiling windows. Through the glass, I saw Ruyan's mother holding the baby, cooing at him with pure joy. Ruyan and Jiboda stood right beside her. 3 generations enjoying a perfect family moment. The golden light inside made the scene look so warm, contrasting sharply with the frozen world outside. Some servants passed by, whispering, "The young master actually woke up 2 days ago. He's perfectly fine." Really? Then why is the master still making him kneel in the hall? Should we tell him? Are you trying to die? The manager clearly wants to test the master's temper. Keep your noses out of it. A gust of wind hit me, bringing cold, hard pellets. Hail. It was only the size of grains of rice, but it stung like fire on my skin. So Jiboda's son had been awake for 2 days. Yet Ruyan never told me. He let me kneel in the freezing wind for 2 days and 2 nights. If Tiantian hadn't come, I would have stayed here until I died. The cold was too much. I blacked out. The last thing I remembered before passing out was my daughter's tearful eyes. When I woke up, I was back in the bedroom. It was warm. I was wrapped in a thick wool blanket, with an IV drip in my hand. Ruyan was sitting right there, clutching my hand. His beautiful face looked haggard and worried. "Fan, you're awake. How do you feel? Anything hurt?" I turned my head away. I didn't want to speak to him or even look at him. My rejection was so sharp it made Ruyan wince. "Fan, are you blaming me?" His voice was raspy. "I'm sorry. I've been busy with the baby. I haven't been able to care for you, but you're always on my mind. I even arranged for a guard to watch over you and report back on everything. I thought he'd keep me updated on even the smallest things, but that dog of a servant got lazy and didn't notice when you fainted. Don't worry. I've already punished him. It won't happen again." He was still lying. The care for the baby, the guard, it was all an excuse. He was still the same Ruyan. Nothing had changed. I closed my eyes, drowning in exhaustion. I only said one thing after waking up. Ruyan turned pale, sounding annoyed. "You have not looked at me once in 2 days. You only care about the child." The child did not care about me either. I smiled, looking at him with zero love left. "You never came to find me when I knelt in the hall for 2 days. Sweetie returns to find me first, every time. Ruyan, how could you compare to her?" His face darkened, nearing a rage, but he had no ground to stand on. He looked away, cold. "My mother took Sweetie back to the mansion. Tomorrow is your birthday. I will bring her then. The house is too busy for her. Caring for the boy leaves no one for Sweetie. She is better off there." It was laughable. He keeps his child, but I cannot see my own. Who is the spouse and who is the intruder? Enough. I closed my eyes, too drained to fight. Seeing me silent made Ruyan restless, but he forced a soft tone. "A fan, do not be like this. You will see her tomorrow. Have some porridge. You have been unconscious for 2 days." I stayed still, like a soulless doll. Ruyan burned with irritation, terrified of this version of me. It felt as if he was gone. from my world entirely. A fan he started, but a knock interrupted. Sir, the little master is spitting up again. Please come see. Ruyan had no choice. Rest well, I will go check on him. He rushed out. I closed my eyes, wanting only to finish this last day and leave Ruyan forever. By dusk a maid brought hot soup. Sir, Mr. G had me stew this fish soup for you. I was starving after 2 days of nothing. I lifted the bowl. One sip and I froze. This was not fish soup. I fished around with my spoon, pulling out a strange piece of meat. Jibata tasted it. He smirked at the door. Your beloved sweetie is in that bowl. A blast went off in my brain, shattering my world into a bloody mist. My bones felt like they were turning to dust. A piercing scream tore through the silence. I threw the porcelain bowl at him and lunged, acting like a madman. You animal! What did you do to sweetie? Murderer! I will make you pay. I gripped his throat, beating him relentlessly. My eyes were bloodshot and every shred of reason crumbled away, leaving only raw, burning hatred. He choked, but a twisted smile crossed his face. He barely fought back, feigning weakness as tears fell. Yifan, let go. I cannot breathe. Sure enough, Ruyan appeared at the door. Yifan, what are you doing? Let him go. She pulled me away with one hand, shielding the coughing man. Yifan, are you crazy? He stewed soup for you out of kindness. Why are you doing this? Her partiality was sickening. But he killed Sweetie! I screamed, every word dripping with agony. He made me eat soup made from Sweetie. The horror made Ruyan freeze. He looked at Jibata in disbelief. Is that true? Jibata sobbed. It was just pork rib soup. Yifan, have you lost your mind? I am a father too. How could I do such a terrible thing to your daughter? She is safe at the mansion with the old lady. We can call them right now to bring her here. Without a second thought, Ruyan ordered her to fetch Sweetie immediately. Half an hour later she arrived. Daddy, she hugged me. I froze. She was alive? I realized the truth and looked up at Jibata. He hid behind Ruyan, offering me a smug, triumphant grin. I understood instantly. This was all a trap. He lied to provoke me into attacking him before Ruyan. See clearly now, Yifan? Ruyan hissed. She is right here. What else do you have to say? I closed my eyes. I had lost. I had no words. Jibata clutched his arm, weeping. A long scratch from a broken bowl shard marred his skin. That mark and his fake misery extinguished the last warmth in Ruyan. He looked at me with chilling intent. To drive him away, you would lie? You claimed he boiled your daughter? You beat him like this? Even I cannot protect you now. Guards, slap his mouth 100 times. Think carefully about what you say from now on. The guards forced me to the ground, using heavy wooden boards to strike my face. Those boards were hard as iron. Blood poured from my mouth after 2 hits. Daddy, no! Sweetie cried, rushing over, but the guard struck her too. Her tiny body flew through the air, hitting the ground covered in blood. Sweetie! I struggled to reach her, but the guards pinned me down. Ruyan watched on, cold. Let him learn a lesson. The board kept falling. 1, 2, 3. My face was a bloody mess, too broken to even speak. Only then was Ruyan satisfied. Reflect in this room, he said coolly. I am taking him to the hospital. He left with Jibata, leaving me in pain, near collapse. I crawled to my daughter. Sweetie, wake up. Do not scare Daddy. But the little figure was still. She did not cry, nor did she move. She was freezing. A hole in her head bled slowly. My body went rigid. I touched her pulse. Gone. My daughter died on the eve of our escape. Just as I shattered, my phone rang. A familiar voice spoke. A fan. I sent your parents abroad with new identities. They are safe. Your visa is ready. I picked it up from the office. I am at your door. Are you coming? I said nothing. I carried my daughter's cold body, walking slowly toward the door. A black Rolls-Royce waited on the dark asphalt. I climbed in, kissing her cold cheek. Tears poured down. Sweetie, Daddy is taking you away. Do not be afraid. We will never be apart again. It was late when Ruyan returned. The scratch on Jibata's arm was shallow, yet he whined, clinging to Ruyan's sleeve. He kept saying how much it hurt. Ruyan coddled him, even dressing the wound himself. He felt a strange, unexplained unease. Like something was vanishing, and he could no longer hold on. Ruyan, do you think he is still mad? Jibata asked, pretending to be guilty. It is my fault. It has nothing to do with you, Ruyan snapped. He was just acting out. You were kind to him, and he attacked you. Simply lawless. The black Lamborghini pulled up to the gate. Ruyan helped Jibata out, settling him and the child before, hours later. Finally checking on me. The room was empty. The bed was neat. The ivy line was ripped out. A table full of words left unsaid. Ruyan's heart tightened. Where would he go? A fan? He called out, but silence met him. Looking at the empty room, his mood turned restless again. When I left a year ago, it shattered him. He became anxious and possessive. If I was not there when he wanted me, he would panic. He snapped. Furious, Ruyan roared my name, tearing through the Lu estate with frantic energy. He ransacked the walk-in closet, the bathroom, the study, and even the rooms downstairs. He searched the kitchen and living room, but I was nowhere to be found. Had I run away again? That thought hit him like lightning. Panic surged, leaving him in a state of absolute chaos. Yet, he remained arrogant. My parents were still in his clutches. Those 2 trump cards meant I could never escape his grip. Cold-faced, he dialed my number, but the line offered only a chilling, automated voice. The phone was off. He tried again, desperate with the same result. Seething, he smashed his fist into the wall, then pulled up my WeChat with trembling, bloodshot eyes. He typed a message. Yifan, I am giving you 1 hour to return. If I do not see you, you know the consequences. You would not want me disturbing your parents in the middle of the night, would you? He tossed the phone onto the sofa and sat down, waiting for me to crawl back. Just then, Boda came downstairs, woken by the commotion. He put on a worried act, stirring the pot. Boda whispered, Ruyan, did Yi Fan run off again? Maybe I should move out. I do not want you two fighting because of me. Ruyan smirked, his confidence unshaken. He does not dare. His parents are still in my hands. Where could he go? He has nowhere to run. He has to stay by my side. Minutes bled into 20, then more. The minute hand completed its circle. An hour had passed. His phone lay silent on the sofa. No calls, no texts. The doorway remained empty. Ruyan's expression darkened. Good. Very good, Yi Fan. You have grown a backbone. He summoned his men, his voice icy. This man is out of line. Go to the Yi home and bring his parents here immediately. If I cannot manage the son, I will let his in-laws handle the discipline. The order given, his men sped toward the old Yi residence. But an hour later they returned, faces pale as ghosts. Boss, something went wrong. His subordinate's voice trembled. Ruyan's face dropped. What do you mean? Where are my in-laws? Did I not tell you to fetch them? Where are they? The man lowered his head, afraid to meet his gaze. Boss, Yi Fan's parents are gone. When we arrived, the house was empty. Even the men assigned to guard them, they are all gone too. Phones are disconnected, people missing. It is as if they were scrubbed from existence. Ruyan's brain buzzed. He stood frozen for 5 full seconds. Then he flipped the coffee table. Glasses, tea sets, and ashtrays shattered across the floor. Gone? Ruyan's voice hit a shrill peak, like a cornered beast. What do you mean gone? People do not just vanish into thin air. You bunch of idiots. What am I paying you for? Get out there and find them. If you do not bring him back tonight, none of you will survive. Get the surveillance footage from around the estate. Review every single frame. I need to know how he left. I need to know where he went. Ruyan screamed, hysterical. In this moment, all arrogance had vanished. He was truly terrified. Without my parents, he had lost his leverage. This meant I was leaving him for good. Ruyan paced, his face terrifying, looking ready to kill. The men dared not hesitate. They split into 2 teams, one to analyze the footage frame by frame, the other to sweep the area surrounding the estate, hunting for any trace of me. Surveillance finally yielded a result. Boss, we found it, one shouted, excited. Late yesterday afternoon, a black Rolls-Royce picked up Yi Fan at the front gate. As the man reported, he pulled up the footage. A clear image appeared on the screen. At dusk, the black Rolls-Royce stopped. I straightened my suit and climbed in without a moment's hesitation. The car vanished into the distance. Ruyan stared, fixated on the vehicle, and roared his command. Zoom in on the license plate. The man paused and magnified the image. When the familiar, arrogant plate appeared, the temperature in the room dropped to freezing. Shen Yuchu. It was her car. The person who stole his husband was that scum, Shen Yuchu. They had been sworn enemies since childhood. Every man Ruyan liked, Yuchu would try to snatch. As revenge, Ruyan would sabotage every business deal Yuchu attempted. They had clashed for over a decade. Both wished the other dead, but the Liu and Shen families were equally powerful. Despite their hatred, neither could land a lethal blow. So, they were forced into a stalemate. They traded petty blows, neither yielding. But business was one thing. Stealing his husband was unforgivable. Ruyan gritted his teeth, the intent to kill radiating from him. Go to the Shen estate. I am going to slaughter Shen Yuchu. Half an hour later, Ruyan stormed the Shen mansion. He kicked the door open, charging inside with lethal intent. In the living room, Yuchu was calmly sipping tea. Seeing Ruyan's murderous look, she did not even flinch. She just blew on her tea. Boss Liu, to what do I owe the visit? Ruyan was past the point of politeness. He grabbed her collar and snarled. Shen Yuchu, stop playing games. I know you took my husband. Where is he hiding? Your husband? Yuchu feigned confusion. You mean Boda, the man who just had your baby? Is he not at your house? Shen Yuchu, do not force me to hurt you. Ruyan growled. Where is Fan? Yuchu smiled. So you mean Fan. I do know, but I have no obligation to tell you. However, since you are here, I will let you in on a secret everyone knows. Fan is not your husband. The marriage certificate you got when you remarried is fake, and all year, I have been in contact with him. Thanks to your behavior as a degenerate, Fan is finally willing to accept me. These words successfully pushed Ruyan over the edge. Shen Yuchu, you are asking for death. Ruyan's sanity shattered. He swung a punch, but Yuchu dodged and kicked him in the stomach. 2 women from elite families began a graceless brawl in the living room. Both were trained in boxing and combat, exchanging brutal heavy blows. It was a stalemate. After a grueling tussle, Shen's bodyguards pulled them apart. Ruyan was bleeding, his forehead gashed, his eye bruised. He looked pathetic. Yuchu was also hurt, but she smiled like a victor. She laughed mockingly. Ruyan, do not waste your energy. Fan left with me willingly. He is doing well. I advise you to stop looking for him. Even if you find him, you cannot take him back. Because this time he is not alone. I will be his protector. You will never threaten him again. Fan does not love you anymore. Have some self-respect. Shut up. Ruyan broke free. He pointed at her, furious. Shen Yuchu, who do you think you are to lecture me? Fan is my husband, he is mine. Alive, he is mine. Dead, he belongs to me. You will never hide him, and you will never steal him. Ha, Ruyan, how can you say that with a straight face? Yuchu sneered. Want me to remind you what you did? You betrayed and hurt him over and over for Boda. A year ago, because of a small trick Boda pulled, you poisoned Fan, leaving him in agony all night. You also used whips. You used baseball bats to beat him and locked him in an ice cellar to die. That was all you're doing a year ago. He finally escaped, but you kidnapped his parents, forcing him back to your side. Lu Ruyan, many people do not get second chances, but Fan gave you one. And what did you do after that second chance? You never repented. You were still obsessed with Boda, treating Fan like a soulless doll, tossing him around and torturing him however you pleased. You do not deserve him at all. Her words were like razor blades stabbing Ruyan's heart. He felt as if his very soul was shredded, but he still retorted, Shen Yuchu, our business is none of your concern. I will find him, and he will return to me. Just you wait, Shen Yuchu, when Fan and I reunite one day it hits you. You've been nothing but a fool. Lu Ruyan turned away, icy resolve hardening in her chest. She knew a standoff with the Shen family was useless. Their wealth and influence mirrored her own, and neither side could break the other. Since a direct clash was a waste of time, she needed a new strategy to track down Yi Fan. Once she left the Shen estate, she wasted no time. Ruyan immediately ordered her men, shadow Shen Yuchu. Everywhere he goes, everyone he meets. I want to report the second it happens. Keep your eyes on him and we'll find Yi Fan. Her crew moved instantly, casting a wide, invisible net with Shen Yuchu at the center. They didn't just tail him 24 hours a day, keeping watch on his every move. They even deployed military-grade gear to tap his phone. At first, Ruyan was fueled by hope, convinced this level of surveillance would lead her to Yi Fan in no time. But as the days dragged on, she got nothing. Just useless noise. Boss Yuchu held a board meeting today. Boss, he met with the global group CEO. Looks like the Shen family is eyeing the film industry. Boss, he's entertaining clients at a high-end club tonight. No sign of any suspicious men. A month passed, and the reports were identical, strictly business and networking. Yuchu was a standard workaholic. His routine was predictable. Office, home, and occasional high-end dinners with partners. Not a trace of Yi Fan, not a single clue. Ruyan's patience evaporated, leaving her irritable and short-tempered. The atmosphere at the Liu estate turned toxic. Servants crept around on tiptoes, terrified that the slightest noise might ignite the powder keg. Jibuda walked downstairs with the baby, finding Ruyan on the couch. The ashtray in front of her was overflowing with cigarette butts, her entire demeanor clouded in gloom. She approached quietly, trying to soothe her. Ruyan, don't worry. Yi Fan ran off before, remember? He'll crawl back to you eventually. He's just acting out to get your attention. You know how men are. The more you chase, the further they run. She hoped to trash Yi Fan's reputation so Ruyan would finally loathe him. But Ruyan snapped her head up, eyes locked on her. Shut up, she growled. You have the nerve to speak? If not for you, would he have left? Jibuda's eyes welled up instantly. Ruyan, how could you say that? I did nothing. Nothing? Ruyan let out a bitter hollow laugh. She rose, looming over her, step by agonizing step. If not for you, cooking that soup and lying to him, saying it was made from Niangao's meat, would he have walked out? Don't think I don't see your petty tricks. I didn't care for that dog, so I ignored it, but I know exactly what you're capable of. So stop acting innocent. The sheer malice in her gaze sent Jibuda stumbling backward. Even the baby in her arms seemed to sense the crushing tension. The child let out a piercing wail, the sound like jagged needles driving into Ruyan's frazzled brain. She clawed at her hair in frustration, holding back from lashing out at Jibuda, and stormed into the study instead. The slam of the door shook the entire villa. After a sleepless night, Ruyan made a choice. To find Yi Fan, she was going all in. She pulled out her phone and called her assistant. Set up a global live stream immediately. Use the official Lu Group account. Notify every media outlet. 7 o'clock tonight, I want this broadcast everywhere. Listen, I want this pushed domestically and internationally. Spare no expense. By tomorrow morning, I want the whole world reporting on this. The assistant hurried off to handle it. 7 o'clock hit. The stream went live on time, and millions of netizens and reporters flooded in. What's going on? Lu Group's official account? New product launch? I'm betting a pack of snacks it's the boss showing off her husband again. Definitely a couple stunt. Our CEO is famous for spoiling him. The comments flew by, and the viewer count hit 100 million in an instant. Ruyan inhaled deeply before the lens. Hello everyone, I'm Lu Ruyan. I'm using the company's platform tonight for one reason, to find my husband, Yi Fan. She paused, then leaned forward and bowed deeply to the camera. Yi Fan, I know I was wrong. I was a jerk. I'm apologizing to you in front of the entire world. I'm not asking for instant forgiveness. I just want a chance to make it up to you. Please, come back. I can't do this without you. The comment section froze for a heartbeat before exploding into a frenzy of chaos. Public apology? My God, our CEO really is a diehard romantic. I'm so jealous. How can someone so rich be so obsessed? Is this real life? A top-tier business mogul and her trophy husband? I'm obsessed. Just as the chat went wild, Ruyan dropped the final bombshell. I, Lu Ruyan, am asking every netizen to help me find my husband, Yi Fan. For any real actionable lead that leads to him, I will pay $1 million in cash as a reward. That number hit the internet like a tactical nuke, kicking up a massive wave of global attention. Ruyan knew money talked. Sure enough, a month later, she received a call on a private number. She hadn't posted this number online. Anyone else had to go through her staff. This had to be Yi Fan. The caller was indeed me, because Ruyan had broadcast my photos and appearance to the world, and offered $1 million bounty for my location. Suddenly, the story was hitting the front page of every major news outlet, magazine, and mobile app on the planet. With that level of media saturation, everywhere I went, I was hunted. Some crazed criminals even tried to kidnap me for ransom. If Yuchu hadn't secretly sent people to guard me, they would've succeeded. Totally broken and overwhelmed, I hissed into the phone to Yuchu. How can she be this shameless? What does she want? Does she really want to force me into getting plastic surgery, just to finally get away from her?